Welcome to MLK Manifesting the Dream, an annual program of We the World to carry forward the work and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. To learn more and get involved, please go to we.net/MLK. My name is Rick Ulfik, and I'm the founder of We the World and the We campaign at we.net. We the World is an international coalition building organization that unites and promotes the efforts of people, organizations, and movements working for the common good. Now, as we honor Martin Luther King Jr., I'm excited that we will have a conversation with Reverend Deborah Moldow, who is the director of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle and an interfaith minister. We will consider how the work of MLK continues to be crucial today. For example, MLK worked to address racism and expand people's civil rights. His work is really crucial now as we see mass deportations starting, targeting Black and Brown immigrant populations, devastating families and terrorizing communities. So MLK's work continues on. Now I'm excited that we will hear from Reverend Deborah Moldow. Reverend Deborah Moldow is ordained interfaith minister committed to assisting in the transformation of human consciousness for a culture of peace. She is the director of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle, and she is founder and president of the Garden of Light, which provides an online platform for the emerging global spirituality. And she is a longtime friend and frequent participant in the programs of We the World. Reverend Deborah, could you please speak about how your work connects with MLK's longstanding concerns and society's current challenges? And welcome to MLK Manifesting the Dream, Reverend Deborah Moldow.
Thank you so much, dear Rick. I'm delighted at this opportunity because the work that you have done over so many years with We the World in highlighting Dr. King's message year after year is so critical to our world today. And in spite of the fact that we recently celebrated Dr. King's birthday, nobody is talking about it. Nobody's talking about his message of nonviolence. Nobody is talking about his dream that we all want to manifest. So I'm delighted to have this opportunity to speak with you about it, Rick. And to me, I see it in the context of my work with the Evolutionary Leaders Circle, which you are a part of. Because Dr. King was truly an evolutionary leader. That's exactly how I would characterize his work. And what that means to me is that his vision that he worked toward with all his heart and soul and energy was a vision for a different kind of future for humanity than what he saw around him, not only in the United States of America, but in the world. And this is truly the role of an evolutionary, right? Is to be thinking about what is the next expression of human evolution that could manifest the dream, that could manifest a world of that quite different from today's world, a world of radical equality and deep caring. And he expressed this vision so eloquently, particularly when he spoke about the beloved community. So that is the part of his message that touches me the deepest, because that truly was a vision for how humanity could live on this planet as one human community, recognizing differences, but appreciating them and respecting them with a level of caring that extends beyond ourselves, our families, our communities, and our nations to a truly global vision of peace on earth. And what you and I in our work at the United Nations would refer to as a culture of peace. So we've been living clearly in a culture of conflict and violence our entire lives. We're baby boomers. And what that means is that we were born following the Second World War. And the United Nations grew out of the vision that peace was possible because the winners of that war could get together and create a table for the world to come to with all of their concerns, to dialogue and to find solutions. And this is part of what Dr. King meant by the beloved community, because in his view, conflict was never going to disappear, that was part of human nature, but that conflict could always be resolved by deep dialogue. And that violence was never a solution. And that, of course, is what we've seen, because with war after war, every war seems to spark the next war. It just is a never-ending cycle. And why is that? Because we haven't changed our consciousness. This is where it begins. And Dr. King had two great inspirations for his path to this dream of a beloved community. And one was Jesus. After all, he was a minister and he came from a family of ministers, and I think that's why he was such a phenomenal orator. You know, it was like it was in his blood to be able to speak and in such powerful poetic language that no one could turn away. And then, of course, his other great inspiration was Mahatma Gandhi, who also had a deeply spiritual background, and his was in the Hindu tradition. You know, and I love that the one was a Hindu and the one was a Christian. I'm an interfaith minister, and it's so clear to me that the vision of the beloved community is at the heart of every religion. And when you think about the components of that vision, the elimination of violence as a way to settle conflict, you know, number one, the radical equality of every woman, man, and child on the planet, the need to care for one another, to take care of one another so that everyone can live a life not only of dignity, but of self-expression and flourishing. And that is a deeply spiritual vision. Our society grew out of the era when science began to take hold in Europe in the Renaissance, where we saw this incredible outpouring of human creativity to really explore the world around us beyond the kind of strictures that religion had set forth, and look with great curiosity how the world works and how we take that knowledge and improve our lives. And all of us benefit from that scientific revolution. Look at the longer lives that we're leading, the great advances in medicine, and look at the incredible advances in communications and like the platform we're using now. And in transportation, you and I have been around the world. What a gift. You know, our grandparents would have been completely astonished at our ability to just pick up and go someplace. You know, they may have made a great voyage if they were immigrants, right? But the idea that you could just travel anywhere, that has allowed us to truly discover that we are one human family, and we may speak different languages, and we may look different, and we may express ourselves through different cultures and religions. But I can't imagine anyone who doesn't yearn deeply in their heart for Dr. King's vision of a beloved community. He said, I want to quote Dr. King from something he said at a victory rally following the announcement of a Supreme Court decision desegregating Montgomery's buses. He said, it is this type of spirit and this type of love that can transform opponents into friends. It is this type of understanding goodwill that will transform the deep gloom of the old age into the exuberant gladness of the new age. It is this love which will bring about miracles in the hearts of men. Isn't that inspiring? Imagine that the basis for creating the beloved community is love in the hearts of men. So the question before us is a very serious one right now. We do not live in a civilization that's based in love. And it's so interesting that it seems like people of deep religious faiths right now, and I can see it in at least 4 that I'm thinking of, different religions that are based on love and respect and dignity, that are not behaving that way in their, when they are the heads of nations, or whether they are the heads of significant actors in our world. Groups, terrorist groups, are frequently religious groups. How is that possible? What's wrong? How is it that we all don't embrace Dr. King's vision so that together we can manifest the dream? So I think this is a serious question for us to ponder together in this time when we're celebrating Dr. King and his work and his legacy. What do we do together to bring back his teachings of nonviolence and to encourage our global community to move into this, I was going to say mindset, but it's kind of a heart set, isn't it? Where love is the guiding principle. And the beloved community means everyone is beloved. Everyone. It's kind of hard to imagine, but in his day, Dr. King said, we need to love the segregationists. He said, yes, we need to continue this struggle and, as they used to say, keep our eyes on the prize, but never to hate and never to use violence. And if we could just take that in, that would transform our civilization and it would transform our world to a world of peace.
So beautiful. Thank you. So, given what you said, talking about beloved community, our society has many challenges, and I'm just wondering if you have a call to action that you'd like to share. What could people do that could contribute to actually creating beloved community where everybody is recognized and has dignity and all the things that you were talking about?
Well, that is the question of the day, and perhaps the question of our entire era. Because when you see an entire global civilization that is headed for the iceberg like the Titanic, how do you find the rudder, the trim tab that will turn the ship around? And it's a big challenge. So the only two suggestions that I can offer is, the first one is a spiritual answer. I think it's very important for us to try not to allow ourselves to be in a constant state of reaction to the things that are happening around us. And the way that I try to protect my own emotional being from the shocks of the daily onslaught of news is to go into the witness. It's like a step back and watch what's happening. We are witnessing an enormous moment of change. And a lot of it is very frightening, particularly the changes around the climate, because we have seen devastation by water and by fire and the earth trembling, and our world is changing around us. So the very ground under our feet is not as solid as we thought it was. And that's even before you start to consider the political aspects of our lives in this moment. And it's very easy to go into fear, anger, despair, and to a certain extent, guilt. For instance, we use so much plastic in our daily lives, and we know it's choking the sea creatures. Every time I purchase something that's in plastic, I'm like, oh my God, I'm part of this. And we are part of it because we are part of this culture. So it's very important to be able to say, we're watching this unfold. Yes, we're participants, but we can be observers. And that's a very healthy thing to do in our personal lives when when we're in a state of agitation over a relationship, or something that's when our computers malfunction, or or stuck in traffic. There are things that trigger us, and the more we can get accustomed to stepping back and just looking at it, calm down, Deb. You're only stuck in traffic. It's not the end of the world. Or that's what happened in politics today. Let's see where this is going. And let's try to keep an open mind, which is very difficult because we are in a very fragmented society and we have sides. And it's very hard to give up our sides. And I'm not asking anybody to give up their side, because everyone needs to fight for what they think is right. And they are entitled to do that. But it's also really important to try to understand what the other side wants and what need is not being met that makes them take a different point of view. So that's what the witness is about. And I think it's a really valuable tool. So I wanted to share that. And then the other suggestion that I'm going to make is to really look at what you can do to build beloved community in your community, whatever that community looks like. So I've been very privileged because I moved to Mexico 5 years ago from New York, a big change. I'm very proud of our woman president, Mexico. But there are some very beautiful things to learn from the Mexicans and the community that I live in. One of our Mexican neighbors started a friends WhatsApp group for the neighborhood, and she collected everybody's birthdays. And every couple of months, a different person in the community hosts a potluck. And we celebrate the birthdays that happened during the 2 previous months. And it's such a simple thing, but I've never lived in a place where I know all my neighbors before. And we enjoy one another. And I've learned that it's possible to build community with everybody pitching in and participating. This is what happens in a congregation, a church or a synagogue or a mosque. People will come together and not only worship, but also eat together. And that is a way to just really feel that you are in community. And because of this feeling, we can appreciate one another. We don't have to be best friends with everybody. But we have this level that Dr. King was talking about, of beloved community, where everyone is respected. And we want to make sure everybody's needs are met. So if we can do this, at least on a local level, I think we can begin to grow that sense of manifesting the dream. And maybe it's a small step, but it's something we need deeply. And I think we need it even more at this moment when our religious communities have been scattering and splintering. So not everybody, when we were kids, almost everybody worshiped every week somewhere, and there was some sense of religious community. And I don't think that's the case throughout the Western world, so the States, but also Europe right now. I think that has kind of dissipated. So we need to cultivate community, and we need to cultivate faith. And by faith, I don't mean that some power beyond us is going to fix this all for us. Although I'm in favor. I would love to see that happen. But a faith in humanity, that we are evolving, and that everybody who's listening to us today, everybody we know, wants this beloved community. So let's allow ourselves to be inspired by the words and actions of Martin Luther King Jr. Truly still from beyond, leading the way to manifesting the dream.
Thank you. Thank you. So, bearing witness, in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And cultivating community.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So this has been really inspiring. And thank you so much, Reverend Deborah Moldow, for being part of MLK Manifesting the Dream.
Thank you, Rick Ulfik. Let's go from me to we.
Yes. So I was just going to say, so yes, this is a W for people who don't already know. It's all about we, all of us together, right? So, and we is really another way of talking about MLK's beloved community, right? That's what we is all about. So let's go from me. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, not only from me to we, but this is also going from peace to we.
Good. I like that.
It's even bigger.
Yes.
So let's do it, and let's do it together.
Okay. So we're going from me.
Yes.
And with peace in our hearts and in our planet, and then we can go to we.
May peace prevail on earth.
May peace prevail on earth. And of course, this is why we launched we.net to go to we. Some people are doing this with we, W and E, W and E, which is
it comes out backwards on the screen, though.
So you have to do the other way, something like that. So,
but I get it, and
exactly.
I feel like it is possible, and never let the discouraging circumstances around you make you think that we cannot achieve our dream of peace.
That sounds good. So thank you, and thank all of you watching this so much. Bye-bye.